Canon C400. I have been waiting for this camera for such a long time. I'm filming this on a Canon C70. I own two Canon C70s. Before that I had a C200. Before that I had a C100. C70's been a great camera for me. I use the RF glass for stills. I use a lot of EF cinema glass and other brands of glass on my video projects, doing commercial filmmaking, and always wanted to get a full frame sensor in a cinema body. C500 was a great option, but having that RF mount natively is really exciting to me. So I've been waiting quite a while to get this camera. Just got it in the mail from MPEX in Columbus, Ohio, and just want to get it opened up and figure might as well make a video like I always do. Still working on the R5 settings video if you follow the channel. I'll be honest, the settings on that camera are super complicated and I haven't had a lot of time with it, taking some stills. So anyways, C400, gonna get this opened up right now. Big proper instruction manual here. This is nice to see, I guess. It's funny how things seem to differ between the photo world and the video world on these cameras. Top handle, two 1/4-20s. Looks like it has a smart connector here. Oh, and that's gonna pass through up to this smart hot shoe or whatever they're calling this thing. Nice to see that passing through, but I mean, this is a plastic handle. I generally don't use the included handles with these cameras, so but this does feel pretty nice. This has a nice rubber grip on it. You know, decent quality. Got a couple 1/4-20s on top, stuff like that. But I'm gonna outfit this with bright tangerine equipment. But I know a lot of my friends in the cinema world also generally kind of add cages and handles and things like that. But feels nice and solid. Might be a good temporary solution till Bright Tangerine gets their stuff out. Monitor mount. So this is going to interface with this post here. But yeah, monitor mount. Go on the handle. Shotgun mic mount. I'm going to leave this in the bag because I lose all the pieces, but little shotgun mic mount. Part of the power adapter, more power adapter, yeah, power brick. No, this is the battery. So these are new batteries. So this is a BPA60N, so the N is the different part. There's gonna be some limitations if you use this camera with a regular BPA series battery, like BPA60. And the N is higher voltage or wattage, whatever. So there's gonna be some stuff you can't do if you don't have one of these in. I plan on using a DC power with a V-mount plate from Core. Mutiny might release one soon. I'm hoping Mutiny does, but I'm gonna use Core V-mounts. But there is some limitations if you don't use one of these batteries natively. I also have Core SWX batteries, and they said they might be able to work with it too, but they're waiting on some firmware updates. So anyways, got one of these. Some Allens. It looks like these screws to mount the hot shoe or the shotgun mic. Kind of curious if this screen is any better than the previous screens. I find name brand screens to be trash, like the ones that come with cameras. I know anytime I have to shoot on Sony and I use like a default screen, it's really unusable. The C70 screen is pretty much unusable to me, and unless you're in a really dark area. I always put like a small HD screen on my camera, but curious to check this one out. This back piece has like, looks like a cable clamp on there, which is kind of nice. It's a USB-C connector type. So curious, interesting, a little different than the previous ones I've seen. Last piece of the battery charger. USB-C monitor cable, so going from the camera to that USB-C monitor. Just bubble wrap, that's weird. There's a lot less stuff in here than I would have thought, actually. Last but not least, the camera. I'm kind of surprised this came fully assembled. So I'm trying to look up at the screen above me while I do this, but it's our left side. Great to see all these interface. This is obviously very similar to the C500 and 300 series. I know that the holes on this camera have moved a little bit, so I don't think you can just like use cage and kit from the other cameras. The exception being the V-mount plate area. So this back area is seemingly the same. Now the I/O has changed, I believe, so there might be some differences there with what can fit. But this mounting is the same, which is good. I ordered the Core SWX plate for this, and hopefully it arrives tomorrow, they said. But kind of hoping it all works. It says it does. Core said it did. But they did say it nano batteries, so like the little batteries from them will work perfectly and not block the I/O, but we'll see how it deals with like the 150 watt hours and stuff. Lots of I/O on this camera, HDMI, mic, headphone jack, USB, monitor and SDI out, so you have two 12G SDIs, so you can kind of run one to a monitor on the camera and an SDI feed to a Teradek or something like that. Mini XLR still. I know for some people maybe that'll be an issue. For me, the folks at True Audio have made me some custom cables. I don't really have an issue with Mini XLR. For me, I'm not an audio person, so generally just run like a shotgun mic or something. Over here we got Ethernet, your mic controls, which is nice. The grip is removable and has a USB-C connection. So, removable grip. Nice to have the option to make this a stripped down just the body, which I really like. I know I will almost certainly be using it that way. On the front, we got lens control port or lens interface. This is, I believe, one of the things that's restricted if you're not using those higher voltage batteries, is the lens power. It may be one of the only things, actually, but I know that's definitely one of them, I remember. We have the removable Allens for adapting this in various ways. So I think the Canon PL mount will mount into these holes, locking into that. Hoping other brands will start doing that. I believe that might already be the case. I just haven't looked at third-party like LPL mounts and stuff. I know that Canon did not make an RF to LPL mount, and that's one thing I would really like to see because my friend owns some LPL lenses that I would love to put on this camera. But their EF expander mount, for one, will go on this and mount into those holes. On the bottom, we have the 4-hole mounting pattern. Canon kind of always seems to mess up the mounting pattern. I think this is a bit better than previous ones. I know the C80, they kind of fixed it versus the C70. Again, back on this left side, yeah, audio. We have our audio control here. Over here, I misspoke earlier. This is just your input if you need line level mic or mic and phantom power. Your actual audio gain controls are over here, and it's kind of nice that these are a little bit submerged or covered up so you don't bump them. Top, we have that smart shoe or hot shoe with the pins in there for like the audio. You can add an audio interface. I'm assuming that's true on this. You can also add that audio interface. But nice 6 big mounting holes. I am putting a plate on this, a cheese plate from Bright Tangerine, so that's exciting to see though that it's nice. Another clamp on here, similar to that monitor where it's clamp and cover for that USB-C. I like seeing that it has a nice cover and the clamp on there, because I personally likely won't be using that monitor all the time. So I think that's it. This is the Canon C400. I am so excited for this camera. I've been waiting years for a camera body like this. I know it's like kind of playing catch up. The FX6 has been around for a while, and that's been Sony's kind of place to this as well. The nice thing about this for me is that in Super 35, I still get that 4K resolution and stuff because I have some Super 35 zoom lenses. Oh yeah, that's the big old sensor in there if you wanted to see it. For me, this camera is really exciting. It's going to match really well with my C70s. So I do a lot of documentary film work and commercial branded content kind of things. So for me, it's going to cut in perfectly. It's also nice that with Canon being in the same ecosystem, this should cut together really well with my buddy Kyle's C500 Mark II. I got another friend with the C300 Mark III, actually a couple of friends with those, and the C70. So it's nice to be in the same ecosystem and get that large format sensor while also getting RF mount. For me, I can now put that RF 28 to 70 f2 on this body, and that lens for interviews is going to be incredible. But I also have my EF cinema lenses and stuff like that, so it's nice to be able to use those those cinema EF primes and adapt them over to this, and just be able to have all of the options open to me, rather than like with the C500 Mark II, I would have had all the EF lenses and obviously not the RF glass. I'm really excited to see what this camera has to offer. Obviously everything about this camera looks amazing, and if this is a little above your budget, they just released the C80, which is going to be coming out or announced the C80, which is coming out in November, which has the same sensor, most of the same frame rates and bit rates for regular style work, not as much on the higher resolution and slow-mo and stuff like that, but a lot of the same features for even less. I actually find this camera is $8,000 US, and I find that to be extremely reasonable. I did some inflation calculations from when I bought the C70s, which was about 4 years ago now, and when you adjust for inflation, I think it comes up to almost 7,000 in today's dollars. So to see that we're basically getting all of these features, this form factor, and all this stuff for like $1,000 or so more than the C70 cost at launch, is kind of awesome. Now I know that sucks to hear that we've lost like a fifth or a quarter of the value due to inflation, but it's just something I don't generally think about. But I know when it got announced, I thought, man, 8,000 is a really good price, and then for some reason decided to do those searches. Yeah, anyways, really excited to see this camera, really excited to put it to work. I literally have an advertisement shoot in a few weeks, and I'm getting all the parts to kit this out, to put it through its paces on a 2-day documentary shoot for one of the companies I work with. So couldn't have arrived at a better time. Really excited to see what happens, and if you're stoked on this and want to see some of the work I make with it, go follow me over on Instagram, Brett in Real Life, and thanks for watching. The question is, when did this mic fall down?